It doesn't have to be specifically a vase. And today we're using a plastic footed compote dish with a lovely Alhambra geometric pattern. And this can be used again in a lot of ways besides floral design. So we found this on Amazon for $5 each in the party wear section. So the only requirement is it has to be watertight. So that's what we have here. And it has the floral foam in it. Everybody would have added the water last night, so the foam is saturated and ready for design. The flowers, up to the flowers. These were purchased again through Stop and Shop in Old Saybrook, and I really like working with the manager, Michelle. There are two Michelles there. If someone answers the phone and says Michelle, just verify that you are working with the manager, because she really is the one that knows what's what and is extremely helpful. And I just found her the most satisfying in the different attempts I've made so far. So here's the thing. No matter where you go, whether it's Stop and Shop or other sources you might try, there's what you ask for and there's what you get. And you have to remember you're dealing with farms. It's not like it's stock on a shelf. It's what is available. They may have all these things on their menu, but it may be different than what's actually available at the time you push the button to make your order. So the extra thing I tried to do was directly ordering bulk flowers, which this ends up being in its own way, through both Costco and then the Stop and Shop online service called Petal Delivery. So I've really admired Costco's florals whenever I'm in that store. Haven't been there for a year, but I'm sure they're still great. And I was really intrigued by the online bouquet. Since our theme is Purple Passion, they had a bouquet of 50 lavender roses. And I thought, wow, that would be such a star in this sort of a design. And pre-Valentine's, that bouquet was going for $40. Now, it's still on there. Maybe, I think it's 55, but still, for 50 roses, that's still a great deal. That's amazing. So I looked at all they had to offer. They had a package of greens, which I really like the looks of, had some of my favorite things in there. And the filler flowers. Now, like you're going to have your main flowers and you want your filler flowers to make an arrangement. I get it in the shopping basket. I'm about to make the order. And then I remember two things in online ordering that we all need to be mindful of, any online ordering on anything. In this case, the description of the items did not exactly match up with the pictures. And that made me cautious. And then I looked at all the review comments, and I would say it's about 50-50 of people that are entirely happy and people that were dissatisfied. And they were generally dissatisfied for one of two reasons: either the quality of the flower, they were crushed, they were wilted, things along those lines, or something entirely different came in. So when you're ordering online, you don't have someone to work with, and they got to fill the order. So they put in there what they've got. And if you're doing a color theme where some of these comments were weddings, that was a problem. So I called their 800 number. I figured I'm going to ask a couple of questions. I found myself talking to a person in Colombia, South America. He couldn't understand me, and I guess he went to get somebody to help him or whatever. I was on hold so long. I think I stopped at about 5 minutes and I just hung up. I said, this is just not going to be the source for me. I also tried that with Petal Delivery, which is the bulk arm of Stop and Shop. And I kind of felt the same way. And I knew that working with Michelle, if what I wanted didn't come in, she had a ton of other flowers that were in the delivery I could look at. I can make a choice. I'm not stuck with them making the choice and sticking something in my bucket and sending it to me. So that's how I ended up with Stop and Shop again. And another one that was just recommended to me, and it probably has been recommended before, was Ashley's Garden Shop in Deep River. So next go around, I'll take a look at them and see how that might work out. So that's my story about sourcing the materials for today. The last quick thing I wanted to do before we get into design, I just wanted to share a couple tools. I just have acquired them since the last time we have done this. So, Bill, can you come down to this? This is a swivel. Can you see it?
Working on it. Yep.
All right, can you see it now?
Yep.
Okay, so it's basically a little turntable. I found this, of course, on Amazon. It's really designed for computers. It could actually take weight. But what I really liked about it, it's only 8 inches. So I liked it better than my wooden Lazy Susan I was using that my dad had made years ago. But I like it that it has no lip, it's just flat. I know it can take weight if I'm going to do a bigger arrangement. It's not going to be wobbly. It's very stable. It's 8 inches. You can get them smaller, you can get them bigger, but this is the one I decided on, and it was $15. So that's one of my first ones, because I like to be able to move my arrangement around. The second item I want to show you is it's a mesh floral netting. It's a 12 by 48 sheet. I think this is an improvement over straight up chicken wire. It's a smaller gauge. It's coated, not sure if that's painted or plastic, but regular chicken wire may, what's happening?
I think it's working overtime with us on it.
Oh, I take that off.
Yep.
So if, floral foam is not biodegradable, this is something that can be reused. And it also has a little smaller hole. The chicken wire is quite a large hole. This is about 3/4 of an inch. So I haven't used it yet, obviously, it's still in its package, but the time will come. This was $9. The last thing I want to share is this. These are, again, all Amazon, because I don't go into stores these days. These are plant stakes. There's 36 of them. They're 14 inches in length. Came with some of the floral tape and so forth on it. And this can be very useful if, like when I was sorting the flowers, you have some bits and bobs. Maybe you got a little bit of a stem, or these just fell off when I was making the groupings. So you can extend that flower with a stake. You just, cut it with a clipper or a wire cutter, and you can extend a flower that might be broken, or you can attach something non-organic that you want to enjoy as a stake in your floral arrangement. This too was from Amazon, and it was $10. Okay, that's all the show and tell I got for you. Ready to design. Does anybody have any questions, comments at this moment? All right. Move that up there a little bit. Everybody has this packet, and I wanted you to see how this all kind of came together. The little clips were, I like to always add a little something whimsy into my arrangements, and they just have a little clip on the bottom. And it would be fun to see how people insert this in their flower arrangement at the end. We'll just put those aside. And we'll open our packages, if you haven't already. Okay. For some reason, they weren't able to give me 2 bunches of snapdragons. So I only have, each bunch has at least one. I randomly got this one. This one had an extra little one in it. Each packet will have basically the same flowers. Each packet might have an extra this or that. I just distributed them out evenly in the end. So I'm going to put my flowers on this side. So we have snapdragons. We have 2-toned roses. I couldn't get the lavender purple family, but it is a purpley pink. And so we're just gonna have to, use our imagination and keep on track with our purple passion theme. I have full-size purple, nice deep purple.
Beautiful.
Carnations. I have the spray carnations in white. So they're smaller and on the stems. Darn it, I forgot the name of this. This is a very soft lavender. We're going to use that as filling. The name is,
So Donna, a question from Carol. The flower, is it a problem that the flower isn't in water, Carol? Is that your question?
oh, you didn't keep them in water? Well, how did they look?
Carol, I'm gonna ask you to unmute yourself. Okay, Carol, go ahead.
My concern whenever I've heard that is when you have it on an extender, the flower is not in water. Won't it die more quickly than everything else?
I think the extender will work more with a mesh situation, but yes, you do have to get the tip of that flower in the water. If it's like this one broke right at the top of the stem, what I would do with this one, trim off the last little bit of it. And I would just put it in a little dish like that and let it float. That's all I would do with that. So I'm gonna get some water. And that can go in your bathroom or some lovely little spot you might like. But yes, it does. It probably wouldn't work with a floral foam situation as well as with a mesh. And yes, it does have to meet the water somewhere. Another thing you could try, and I've thought about it, is you know how sometimes you get a bouquet and each bloom has its own little water vessel? I've hung on to those.
Yeah,
That on it and just keep its own little water source, but you'd have to fill it probably every other day.
Yeah.
It would go through that. But yes, it has to have a source of water on
Right.
that. And, you know, so think about, you know, how you might, how much do you want that bloom in there? But again, I'm thinking from the Hillwood point of view, they are constantly, they make these magnificent arrangements and they'll see, oh, those 6 have died. They'll pull them out and, or maybe they'll break it and, you know, whatever, they'll insert something else. And it may or may not be a plant. I know that I saw them using as a replacement for roses. So they had this wonderful arrangement with these roses in it. They passed on, the roses will usually go first or early. And instead they took pomegranates as about the same size and color tone. They put a stake in the bottom of it.
okay, yeah.
Arrangement as a replacement. So, you know, depending on how much you want to extend your flower arrangements, there's ways to do it without adding more flowers, and stakes could be handy in that.
And one
Excellent.
other
Thank
question
you.
from Lee Moran, is it sea lavender?
This one? Is she asking about this one?
Yes,
I was just going to look up the name.
I think it
should be-
is sea lavender.
I forgot the name. Limonium is the Latin name. Maybe that's the common name.
Yeah, it's Carolina sea lavender, I think. I'm thinking about planting it.
It's really lovely. And if you look at each stem, now you're not gonna just go like this in an arrangement this size. But we're gonna break this down and use it in this light filler. And it's a very soft lavender color. Okay, anything else? Any more questions? Okay, keep them coming when you got them. All right, on the greens, I'm gonna put them on this side. We have this lovely tree fern. There was so much of it. You may or may not use it in this arrangement. If you have a bunch left over, it could look lovely in a vase by itself. So we'll see what happens with that. I adore these, bells of Ireland. Some of them you can see have little flowers blooming in them. These will, while they're in their packet, they kind of keep their upright shape. You can see it's starting to take a bend. This is what they do. So don't be alarmed that your arrangement might kind of change shape on you as the day goes on. This is dianthus, common name green ball. These are rather small. I usually see them about twice the size of this, but I think they're just lovely. They have a kind of Dr. Seuss quality to them. I just think they're lovely. This is actually a flower, but I always see it in arrangements used as a green and as a filler in that particular way. So that's all our materials. Most of us have only one of the snapdragon. I apologize for that. She just didn't have supply. It just didn't come in. Would have loved to have 3 for each arrangement. But it's a very showy bit in this particular grouping. So I'm going to use this as my first thing. I'm going to stick it in some primary way I want. I'm not recommending straight up, but I feel like it's going to set the height of this piece, and it's how I'm going to go after that. So I need to bring this closer to the edge, because I do a lot of measuring like this, close to an item. So we need to stick it in the floral foam 1.5 inches, maybe 2 inches, something like that. So that's how you're going to kind of estimate where you want to cut this. And I'm thinking I want this about this high. So I'm going to give this a cut right here. Give it a cut on an angle. Get rid of the extra green. And so be bold about this. So for anybody that's shy on their flower arranging, we're just going to commit to it, because once you've kind of stuck your stake in the ground, it really kind of has to stay there. I'm going to double check. I'm going to trim that a little more. There we go. Okay. So I think I'm going to go a little bit of an angle. So I'm going to do this. Okay. Give you guys a moment to place your first one. And I'm the one that ended up with the extra one of these. I think a couple of you got an extra one of those. Some of you got an extra rose or whatever down the line. Okay, I'm going to stick with that. I often go with the greens next, but I want to kind of see how my arrangement shapes up. And these, I'm going to use their arching nature. I'm going to hold off on that. I think what I want to start with is the spray carnations. I kind of see 2 bunches in this. Do you see how, if I pull these aside, there's a centerpiece?
Mm-hmm.
So that if I place them in the arrangement, I'd have this grouping and that grouping. So I'm going to separate that. I don't want this sticks rising above this lower bunch, so I'm going to cut that down low. And what I'm left with are 2 little bunches. And so now I got to cut them down a little more to fit this arrangement. All right, this guy's way down low. I'm going to cut him off. No, that's too thin. Use a scissor on that. And I'm going to put him up here a little more. Right, so this actually, by the time I trim this down to the size I want, these are actually 3 separate flowers, but I'm going to use them as a bunch. Okay, so I want them to kind of go in as a spray. And I feel like this one's too long. Okay, here I am down here with this very thick knob at the level that I want to put in the floral foam. I don't want that. It's going to use up too much real estate. I'm just going to cut all that off. So now I really have 3 separate flowers that I'm going to use as a bunch. Because I think it's nice to do that. So I don't want them all together. I'm going to stagger them. And get rid of the little leaves. You don't want those, it muddies up your water. And you can keep together or put them individually, however you see fit. And I'm going to do right there. And I'm going to tuck one in a little more. So that's what that's doing. This one's a little long still. Get rid of the leaves. I'm gonna do one, I think I'm gonna go in thirds on this one. So I'm gonna put this a third of the way in. And then I'm gonna swing it around and I'll put another one in here. I still have some more left over. This one stayed together nicely. We put this in here. So you can start to kind of see the frame of the general shape we're heading towards.
You had a request to explain thirds.
Thirds. Oh, all right. As I turn my arrangement around, I'm kind of constantly aware when I place a flower in, what I'm going to do with the rest of them that are in that kind of grouping. So as I look down, try and do this without spilling, I've kind of split this in thirds for myself. So I put one here, and one here. That's what I mean by thirds. I think with anything with design, it often comes down to proportion and mathematics. And this is one example of how we're just starting. We're not sure exactly how this is going to end. So we're making placements and we're going to go from there. Okay. You should have at least 3 roses. I guess I got 4 in this bunch. Most flowers, you want to remove all the leaves. On roses, you want to remove anything that might end up in the water, but it turns out on a cut flower, the leaves are important to a rose still. So you leave a little bit on there. Look at your rose, make sure you don't have any messed up petals. We saw something on one of these. This one's split. So you just peel it back gently. Get rid of that. This one's looking a little brownish. So you just take those off and you have a lovely rose all around. All right. I love the idea on this particular way this is shaping up. I'd love to see a rose right about here. I don't want it as tall as the Snapdragon. I love the comparison of the colors. And I just want to see a rose in that space. So I am going to eyeball about the height on that, which means I want to cut it right about here. Cut it on a 45-degree angle, so it gives you a nice, yeah. So I am going to, it's about in the center. I'm really going to push it down so I get it. I like this up in here. I'm going to take another rose. This one's looking good. I don't need to do anything. Well, no, I'm going to do that. Funny, they don't have much of a smell. I guess they've bred those out. Now that I've kind of got some of my shape together, I'm kind of thinking of where might I like to see a bloom. And I kind of use my fist as a, you know, a way to kind of check it out for myself. I'd like to have something in there. So kind of eyeball it. Try the shape again. I think I need to take a little more off. I'd like the leaves to fall in that way. So I'm going to go down further. I want that down lower than the other rows. I think I'd like one low down in here. So kind of measure it with your eye, give it a little trim. Check it again, see if that's too much. A lot of times I find I need to take another half an inch, whatever your, all right, so now this leaf is really close to the bottom. I'm going to take that off. And we're going to go with that. Also, I see the flowers leaning this way a little bit. The bloom is actually shaped, facing that way. That tells me how I want to face it in the arrangement. So I'm going to put this one down lower. There we go. Oh, right. Once I got it in there, it kind of snapped up in a different way. So I'm just going to adjust with that. That's the way that one's going. Okay. I'm going to move on to, I'll come back to these other bits. I do have a couple of these blooms left, but I want to go with some of the carnations at this point. I've seen them much bigger. I'm not sure if they need to open up more or, this is what we got. So let's see how we want to place some of these. I see a nice empty spot right in here. So I am going to give that a measure. I think I'm going to cut it here. Again, I seem to, all right, this is what I find that I wanted to share with you on a carnation. Where the leaves measure up and then creates like a knuckle almost on there. That takes up a little bit more room on putting it in your floral foam. So I usually have a paring knife with me. I don't have one this minute. So I'm going to try, maybe the scissors would be better. I'm going to try and shave that a little bit so it's a little bit more straight up and down. So it's not that thickness that it's got to get through. So now it's like that. Okay, and that leaf is kind of crummy looking. Let me get rid of that. All right, this one's kind of bending this way. The head is kind of tilting that way. I'm going to use that. And I like the idea of this color right in here. So I'm going to place that there. I like that. I love the color combination. I was a little worried that I didn't get everything as purpley as I would have wanted. And I'm going to do a similar thing. I think I want it down lower, kind of in here. So what I need is this flower to bend a little. And you can get your flowers to bend very gently. Be careful, I just snapped that one. Let's see if I can use it. I gotta go, some are more malleable, and these can be very brittle, but it's not working too badly. I'm gonna give that, be a little more careful, because I want it low. Yeah. Okay. And it's always good to kind of step back. I'm really loving the way this vase is looking. When you have the vase naked and all you see is the floral foam in it, I love the way the floral foam kind of disappears and you just have this beautiful geometric kind of shape. Okay, I'm going to have one up a little higher right here. So I believe I want to cut this right here. Get rid of the leaves. This one doesn't have a very big thickness in the stem. I'm going to let that ride. And yeah, I'll move this one up higher. All right. And because I'm feeling like I want one right in here. So I see a naked spot in here. I'm going to work on that. As I turn myself around, don't forget, I had a couple leftovers and we have all the greens to do. I often start with placing the greens in, but on this one, I just felt like I wanted to do the flowers first. Okay, so I want one in here and I have to have two more. I don't know if you guys have that many, but we all are going to make these decisions as we go. This one is standing nice and straight. So I'm going to use this one for the height in this area right here. Chloe,
Oops.
you know how much I hate to change my direction once it's in the floral foam. However, this bothers me more. These two are right next to one another. I guess I can adjust it with, these sort of things. So you got to decide how much does it bug you? And there's always a solution to every little thing. And so in this case, I'm going to take it out. We have other stems in there now, so they are interacting with one another. I'm going to turn it so that its curve is heading this way. I'm going to go to a spot close by. And make sure I'm running into another stem. And that's what I got. How you all doing out there decorating? Do you have questions? Am I going too fast for you? Do you want to catch up a little more? If I hear nothing, I'm going to assume you're okay. Okay, Bill, can you film this, get this down here? I've done this round of getting flowers in, but I have this left over. I haven't even used this yet of the flowers group, and I'm going to move on to the greens in a little bit. So I think I'm going to go to, oh shoot, what did you guys call this?
Sea lavender.
Thank you, Bill. Wow.
See, I pay attention.
Wow, I'm impressed.
Ammonium.
Thank you. I'm not great at remembering all the names. Okay, so I'm going to break down some of this Limmonia just so I can get it to where I want to, use it as the little spears. This is, I think, yeah, I'm gonna cut that down to here. So I've got some of the length I'm looking for, and I'm just gonna kind of double it up to get the bulk I want. And I'm going to start interspersing some of this. This is a very light something. Oh, what a pretty thing. This might be nice kind of spilling out in the lower level as well. So I'm going to think about that. And there's, hardly anything you can do wrong. It's design, it's aesthetic. There's no grading of anything at any point in this. Okay. I think this is so fine. This would be nice to extend beyond the other flowers. So I'm going to play with this a little more. At the bottom, some of these are just rather wispy. They don't have much color to them. We're just going to get rid of those. I want the color. So again, I've unnotched a piece, and if I bring it up, and they're at the same level, but now they make a little bit more bulk because they're so fine. All right, we're doing more of this away, and just to do that for now. Okay, gonna notch it again. It's not a real floral term. I just made it up right now. And we're gonna put them together. I'm gonna get those edges the same. I'm gonna try this one down here. So today I seem to be doing things in threes. And we're going to add more as we go. I'd like to do some of the, I think what I really love to do are bells of Ireland. Let me just play with this one. Look at that. I just love that. I hate it that I might have to cut something from the bottom. So I just want to show you this. Inside some of the bells, they have these little balloons. I don't know if I've ever seen that before. How pretty is that? Also, I've never seen on it before. The tip has this salad at the end. I'm not sure if that's typical. Annie Vola, I'm going to bet you know about this one because you love Ireland so much. Is this typical that you would see?
I don't know. Sorry, I don't know.
I'm feeling like I want to trim that off. I'm not loving that. I want to just see this beautiful thing. So I'm going to let that go. I'm gonna trim those little bits off. If any of you have not been having haircuts and this may satisfy some yen in you to do a haircut at this moment. And I'm just gonna get the rest of that off. This is what I want to see. This is what I'm used to seeing on Bells of Ireland. So I want to use that that shape. They will all have as they are out of their packaging, they will bend more. So some of them may have a bend already. So just remember that's going to happen. Don't be alarmed if your arrangement changes. I really love this kind of arching up and over. So I'm going to use the length of this. I'm going to have to cut it close to the bottom because, and I may have to lose that little bit there. So I'm going to kind of cut it close and see if this works. That is such a beautiful thing. All right, do another little haircut on this guy. All right. I like this one. Let's see, where do I have a good spot? I think I'm going to make this one more like that. I would not play with bending this one too much. It feels too brittle. I'm afraid it would snap. I'm afraid I'm going to have to trim that last one. Maybe that'll work in a bowl too. Nothing's wasted in floral arranging. Usually I have bits and bobs left over, so I'm going to trim that. Oh, that's thick. Let that do that. Maybe I'll trim that more later, but in the meantime, I just don't want it out of water. I guess that's a kind of arrangement, just a floating something. And another one that fell. Okay. So here's this one. I cut off one of the sections because I felt it was just too long. I want this one low. You might be running into challenges finding a place in your oasis, so be a little creative with that. Okay, so this is flowing over here, but the place I found for it is way back in this corner on my oasis. So, work with that. I would like one more. I have one more. Some of you may have more. Okay. I'm feeling this in here. Not equal with that one, but not fighting with that one. This one is kind of doing an S. I might have to, I have to trim that lower one again. That's a tough thing. Stick that in some water. You waste nothing. Okay, I made a very rough cut on this. I'm going to trim that. There we go. So I got that nice sharp edge that will get me through the floral foam. Okay. All right. So the next thing I would like to move on to is the dianthus green ball. Such a pretty thing. All right. You got to get down low too and see what's happening at the edge. I think I'll use some of these, the ferns, in those areas, and then I'll have some more blooms left that will fill in where we see we need some color and balance. So now, I'm not sure you can see this. I've got kind of an empty spot right here. And so I'm going to put one of these green balls right in there. So I want this bloom right about like that. This is similar to what I find in the carnations. You get these knuckly joints. This one, I cut it at a point where it doesn't have a thickness, so I'm just going to work with that. That's red like that. I feel like this needs something right here. This particular bloom has a little bend in it. We're going to use that bend. So I want it about here. So I'm going to cut that there. Okay, so I've got these, which means if I've got three, I'm going to want to put one in here somewhere. I think that one's there. Okay. I'm gonna put this one real low. So this is a pretty short cut I put on this one, but I want it low. What a pretty thing. Okay. Now I'm going to move on to the ferns. Michelle commented that these were kind of very full. I'm feeling like this is overpowering the size of this vase. So I think we're going to break it down some. And we'll bunch them and use them as we'd like. And then I'll trim it down enough so that this bunch becomes more the size I want and not overpowering. That works. So I think at this moment, I can see too much of my workings, my handiwork. You want to, greens are wonderful for a number of reasons, but at this stage, I want to get something down lower here so I don't see all of that. I want that shorter. Oh, that's such a pretty thing. All right, now I have all these little bunches that I just snipped. So we can layer them together of the right size to make a nice little bunch. We're going to keep on moving around. Okay. I got too carried away. My ends weren't even. It wasn't letting me stick them in together. Just trimmed them to make them the same things. Pinch it just close to the bottom so you can get it committed to the foam. Otherwise, it kind of spreads out in your fingers. Once you get it started, then you can go the rest of the way. Spread that out. Let's do another one. So those are 3 little cuttings from that bigger one. This one looks fine just the way it is. I'd like something in here. This is such a fine little stem. You don't have to worry like you do with the other ones for the real estate in the floral foam. So this feels like this guy is standing alone. I just want to put a little something around it. This one looks fine just by itself. I like him there. It's such a pretty delicate thing. And I see baldness in here. That's a nice one all by itself. No, want that shorter. How y'all doing out there? You feeling okay? And Nellie, I know it's one of your first times doing it. I want to make sure you're feeling okay. Okay. Now, I have bits and bobs and odds and ends. So I'm going to stand back.
Ann is, Ann, I just unmuted. So Ann, I don't know if you have a question.
No, I don't have a question. I'm working my way. I don't know how I'm doing.
All right, well, don't forget, it's creative. There's no wrong things to do.
Feels
If you don't
mine
like
feels
it-
a little lopsided, but
All right, and if you don't like it, you can take the whole thing apart and use a different thing altogether. And there's no wrong way in this. Okay. Just
And
wanna make sure you're
cannot
feeling it.
possibly be more lopsided than me.
Well, all right. Here, let me comment on that. Lopsided suggests to me you feel like one side has less. It's not rounded. It has one side to it. You can use that. Flower arrangements aren't always in the round. They don't always sit in the middle of a table.
Well, I was kind of thinking like the color combination, like the pink and the purple reminded me of the 1980s. So I decided to go with like an asymmetrical haircut for my design.
Oh, yes,
But
yes.
I've never done that before. So I have no idea what I'm doing and if it came out.
In any case, it's a learning experience, but I think that is a wonderful thought, asymmetrical. You could kind of have something up here and then something down there and keep it small otherwise. That's a fine design choice. It really is.
Well, we'll see.
Or you can put the arrangement against the wall, so you don't have to see the back, or if you feel part of it is kind of not working. But I'd love it if later on you want to share it and we can talk about it.
Yeah.
Okay, we're moving towards the end here. Bill, can I just show me what the supplies are I've got? I have some ferns left, not lithium, I keep forgetting this one. And I have some little bits and pieces. And I hope you're about at the same place. So now is a good time to step back from your arrangement and kind of look at it, turn it around and see what needs something. I see plenty that I need to do. I'm not sure if this shows on the camera so well, but as I look at this, I see the floral foam. I want to grab your eye back here somewhere. So that's a place I think I want to use one of my flowers. So I'm not sure you can see it, but I can see my floral foam. You don't want to see that. And that's what all these lovely, soft, fluffy things are for. I think right now I want to go through using the rest of my balloons and then fill in with these bits of fluffy things. So I happen to have an extra, very small snapdragon. So excuse me. And I want to say it's great talking with you without having a mask on. I am so tired of wearing a mask, but I'm going to keep doing it. But I have lipstick on today for the first time in 10 months. Okay. I believe this is where I want to put this. I don't want it too close to the other one. This seems to be a bald spot for me. Get rid of the extra leaves. I'm going to let this spear out there. I love this little wavy gravy line in this. Wish I could show it more, but the balloons seem to be growing on this side. Gently encourage it to drape. There. Okay, that's one of the big spots I wanted to do. I see another big spot over here. I feel like I need something in here. I've got purple and white, so what's left is pink. So I'm gonna put a rose in there. Got enough of my leaves left on. Fan them out a little. Where do I want that? I think I need to trim it a little more. It's always good to cut it a little long. You can't put it back, but you can trim a little more. There's that. I have a purple carnation. Where do I need a pop of color? I think I need it here. Right about in there. Give that a little bend because where I'm heading. Let me look at it again. The carnations are very interesting. The other flowers where I envision where I'm going to put it, it kind of stays there, but maybe it's because that knuckly nature of the stem. Once I let my hand go on it, it kind of wiggles in a way I don't expect. So I guess that's serendipity. We're going to just work with that. All right, my last bloom I have left is this. Oh, these broke. I could probably use that. Those fell off when I was packaging flowers. You got to be very careful. Okay. I can use some white in here. I don't have any white in here, and I'm going to use this one. I'm just going to trim it a little bit because I like the length. It's a nice skinny stem, so finding real estate in the floral foam is not too bad. Right. Okay. I've got a spray, and I like the way this one's staying together, and I love the little buds on it. I'm going to give that a trim so I have a nice angle on my stem. And I'm going to go right in the center from where I'm standing. Oh, this is one that I had, I'd cut the center out. So actually, it just makes a nice spray. I'm going to go dead center on this one. I like that. Okay. Now, I don't have to measure. All right, this is what I've got left. And I'm going to fill in some more. I'm going to do the fern first because I want to say this is a little bit of color. I'm going to wait on that. I'm going to look at my edges again, down by the pot, the edge of your vessel. Oh, I'm sorry, I'm putting things in where you can't see. There's one. I could use some here. I'll trim this guy a little bit, make a little bunch out of those. Where did I see it? I lost my place. That one's kind of going up a little bit. Got these little leftover ones. I'll make a bunch out of those. It's just a tiny one, but I'm kind of looking at the edge of my pot. I don't want you to see too much of that. I have two more left. This one's little. All right, here's one. I was tempted to go more feathery up here, but I want to kind of focus on the edge of my pot because it was looking a little, you can see too much of my work. I don't want you to see that. And I'm going to use these in a more upright way because I see spots in here. I could do that. And I see another spot at the edge. I think this is too big. All right. Okay, this is where it's missing. Okay, and I have a few little wisps left. We'll see if I need to use them. Now I'm down to the very last. I have 2 swags. We're gonna break them down a little bit. I'm gonna find little spiky areas in here to do because that's where I feel it needs it. Okay. So I'm gonna use height on it at this point. I haven't really used the height on this piece too much. So got that. Now I'm not really looking to cover up anything. I'm looking to kind of accent the wispiness a little bit above the rest of the arrangement in this upward area. Okay. This one's really big. I got to break this one down. Okay, I wanted height. So how much height do I need? All right. Up till now, I've pretty much broken down these things, but this reminds me of baby's breath. You might take a bigger branch that has a lot of pieces, stick it right in the middle, and then feather it between, very gently, between these blossoms. And that's what I'm doing. I'm going dead center, right down, find a little spot to get in. Not breaking my existing flowers. Okay, so now I'm going to kind of feather it through. Like it. All right, so what is left? I have very, very little left. So now you take a look at your whole arrangement. Where would I like something? Okay. You don't have to use it, but I will. Okay. I feel like something fine would be nice in here. I don't need a big bulky one, so. And that's good because I don't have a lot left. Here we go. I got 2 left. Almost done, folks. Okay, I'm going to put one so you can see me put it right there. Nope, that flopped in a way I didn't expect. There. And let me put this one here. All right. No, you flopped on me again. Don't want you to flop. Okay. Now, at this moment, I like to, I've been so focused on distributing, doing things, and today it seems 3 was the number for me. And that changes from arrangement to arrangement. And that's kind of the beauty of it. You kind of, there's a feel you're going for. So now I've put everything in. What is my front? Because usually I don't leave something on a table in the round like this. I'll put it on some kind of side table. Although this one has been done in the round, you could do that. But I just kind of spin it around and see where I think my favorite side is. And I believe that's my front.
So Donna, I'm gonna, for everybody's view here, I've got you on Spotlight. And when you're ready, I'll go to the gallery view for anybody that wants to share.
I would love to see anybody's design. I think I have to come around to the other side of the camera because I'd love to see what you might have come up with and any questions you might have.
All right, so
That's beautiful, Donna.
Thank you, guys. Oh, I like it. Now that I see it, I'm sitting down. I'm happy too. You never know. Oh, that container is really filming nice. I love it.
So I have to just change this to a gallery view so we can.
Sure. I'm gonna get my water.
Donna, you are so talented.
Thank you so much.
And this
You
is
know-
a refreshing departure from looking out at all the white snow. So it's lovely. Thank you.
That's what I missed about not going to the flower show in Hartford. This time of year, you just really want to see all
Oh, these are great. These are great.
Yay, thank you.
Thank
Looks
you,
great.
guys. Does
Thank you.
anybody want to share their arrangement?
Oh, we can see.
Oh, you can? Oh, I can't. Why can't I see it? I'm just seeing my arrangement.
No, we can see. It looks
You go to
great.
gallery.
Oh, Bill, how do we get to gallery?
Gorgeous.
Yeah, it looks
Oh,
wonderful.
I see.
Tell you guys mine so that everybody feels better about the way theirs came out.
Oh,
Yeah.
no way.
It's
I-
beautiful.
Fun.
Wait,
I like the asymmetry of it, and I
So do I.
totally see the 80s reference.
Oh, very pretty.
guys, yours came out beautiful.
Stacy,
Wow, Anne, that looks really pretty. Annie Vola. I see
Okay, give
yours.
me 3 minutes.
And-
Oh,
Beautiful, Anne.
More than 27
know,
years
you're
later, that
pretty.
still gets to me, that cry.
I know.
Oh my gosh. Where are you? Where are you?
Wow, nice job,
Great.
everybody.
I love the
Thank you.
colors.
Great.
Yep.
Oh,
Beautiful.
a baby. I see a baby.
show.
There's a baby.
Oh,
It was fun, Donna. I'm very happy with mine. Thank you.
Hi,
Oh, look at her.
Hi.
Beautiful.
Oh my gosh.
Hi, Eleanor.
Oh, Kim.
what
Cute.
a nice photo.
Uh-oh.
Gets your attention.
Just as a couple chats here, Kim had said that New England Wholesale Florist in Meriden has our tax ID number.
I'll write that
Order
down.
from them and can go pick up from there. I guess Mary Beth does that for the grad flowers. And Kim says also that Brex in Waterford, BRECHTS in Waterford also has our tax ID, and we
I'm
have
sorry.
purchased from them.
I just got my pen. Can you say those two names once
Sure,
more?
and I can send that out to the group that's on the call, but the first one was New England Wholesale Florist in Meriden, has our tax ID number. So if you tell them it's the Garden Club in Old Saybrook, and Brext, BREC_S is in Waterford. And they also have our tax ID. We've purchased from them, but they're a little bit more expensive than the one in the New England Wholesale, since they're a florist, not a wholesaler. Gotcha.
Got it. Thanks for that.
Bill, you did a great job.
Yes, thank you.
Yes, yay.
We'll do the best we can.
Wow, I really like everybody's arrangements. I think
Yep,
they're
it
really
did
good.
well.
Yeah.
I love
looks
the
good.
sea lavender. I've seen that just in a vase with a pop of color, just the sea lavender alone. So that's really pretty.
So Anne Melee,
I-
this was the first time doing something like this. How did it feel for you?
She's on mute.
Oh,
Unmute.
Anne, on mute. Tap your little microphone.
There we go.
Here you are.
Hard to tell. There's no backside to mine, so it's not all 360. It's just the front.
That's fine. That's a method of designing that let's say you're going to put it on a sideboard, just anything with it facing to the wall. That is a real design. It looks great.
Great.
I think it looks wonderful. It looks lush and colorful, and it's beautiful.
It was fun.
All right. Anybody have any questions, comments?
Well, Donna, thank you. You're a wonderfully professional host. I love the patter. You're able to keep it going. So that's very interesting to listen to you. Thank you.
All right.
You all did a great job.
Yep.
Donna, I think you might need to start a YouTube channel for your.
Yeah.
I think so.
Designing, that would be
You know,
great.
something I met, all right, I do have one more story. I was watching Shark Tank with my husband, and this little firm came up, these two lovely young women. I think it's called Alice's Table. And one of the things they do is they, for a fee, that you can do a floral design class just like this. They'll send you the whole packet like we provided for you. They do it for wine tastings. They do it for making a charcuterie board, things like that. You can do over Zoom. So the cost for their class is $65. They're doing it for profit, first of all. And I suspect you don't get this many flowers. And probably just a plain glass vessel. And you got to pay for shipping. The whole thing is a lot more. We did this in the $35 range. So I think you got a lot more value for your money. The phone is going. Okay. So.
Realize I didn't put birds in.
Oh, the birds. All right. I forgot. Thank you. All right. So here's the last thing I got. Thank you. Thank you. So here's the fun thing. Where do you want your bird to be? Do you want your bird way up here? Do you want someone, tucked in? There goes one. And they're very delicate. Nope, doesn't like that. I'm going ahead. So there's one. And there's another.
Yeah. Great.
So, place your birds where it tickles you. I think it would be fun to have one way up here, but it doesn't seem to like, it just seems too wobbly. Ah, there he is. All right, now these birds are too close. So I'm gonna tuck this one in way down here. There we go. So I put this guy way down there. So have fun. Thank you, whoever, you smart person that I forgot. I knew I was going to forget about those birds. When you think you have too much sparkle on it, put more sparkle on it. That's my.
So we did a recording.
All right, guys.